The opinions made in this video do not necessarily coincide with that of Imaginary Goddess, or anyone else for that matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
The Mercenary King here with another state of play. We've got pretty cool things, some more Legion, some little fun deck profile that's pretty cheap to make and I think very enjoyable. And we've also got a new concept in Vanguard. Whew. So, Season 4. They've actually introduced quite a bit. The last set was more or less just break rides. Let's see, we had Ashley, we had Ethics Buster, and a few others. And that was the real big thing from set 13. A lot of people might say that's enough, but at the same time, you gotta realize that, it was still based on Limit Break, and it was sort of the culmination of what Limit Break was. The previous set had Ultimate Break, had a whole bunch of things all mishmashed together, and it was pretty great. And this one is sort of another thing. We had Legion, and I've been talking about this all of my state of plays, but now we've got another one of 3 that are really important things from Season 4 that really change how the game is played. And this is the Unlimiters. Basically, if your Vanguard has Limit Break 4, and the number of drop zones in your number of cards in your damage zone is 3 or less, you can use the abilities. So in other words, you can break ride instantly. As soon as you hit break ride, you can ride another card over it, and it'd be like, bam, son, break ride. Now think about it like this. This is a Link Joker, Eclipse Starvader Charcoal, Eradicator Egghelm Draco Kid, Shortfin Mako Soldier of the Blue Storm Armada, for Aquaforce obviously, and Jewel Knight Sabami. Let's talk about these two. Actually, these 3. Link Joker and Eradicators and sometimes Jewel Knights really do rely on their break ride to pop. The Legions are fantastic. Imaginary Plane Dragon and Dark Zodiac are fantastic cards that will get their own little, threesome. Sexual innuendo like 5 seconds and it's great. And deserves a little focus. But think about it like this. The deck I'm conceiving with this guy is with Nebula Lord and the Break Ride, as well as Bolt Line and a few other cards. Basically, as soon as you hit grade 3, I play Binary Star Twin Gunner right now with my Link Joker deck. And so I have to wait for Limit Break. It's super annoying. But with this guy, Limit Break happens as soon as you want it. And let me tell you, guys, all of a sudden, the guy's locking down your field and he's only at 3 damage. That changes how the game is played and how much defense he has to put on. It makes him instantly more defensible, instantly more threatening. Nebula Lord powers up much faster, and with the new cards coming from set 17, which do not require a Legion, unlike, say, the Royal Paladins or the what's the name of them? Brawlers or Perdition Knights. This is fantastic. Many of the Link Joker stuff doesn't even require the Starvader archetype. Not all of it, mind, but some of it doesn't. So it's like you can play it however you want. This is also another one I would play with Break Rise. You have Ashley, you Break Ride Ashley reverse. All of a sudden you're pop, drop, and locking. This guy, not as useful. There's some really great cards. Transcore Dragon is fantastic, Break Ride, but at the same time, its real use is with Maelstrom, and not Glory, obviously, but with Karma and Normal. And I'd run them in their decks. At the same time, here's the thing, you're taking out things that can really work to make sure you get those 4 attacks, which Aquaforce depends on. There are others, of course. I think Grand Blue has one, and that's pretty good for the break ride, but not much else. Grand Blue really does have the short shift for what they try to give him. And then, of course, there's Eradicators, which, think about it like this. You break ride with a... oh, geez, what is his name? gets plus 3k in a crit every time you kill something. All of a sudden you're doing that real early, or you're using sweep command real early. You know, that's stuff they can't really recover for guard-wise, or, you know, field-wise. And, of course, you can run 12 crit in sweep command. Gauntlet Buster, that's the guy's name. There are others. One clan that really does need them, I believe, is Kagero has one. Oh, I was just thinking about this. Is Great Nature, and let's see here, what was the other one? Bermuda Triangle. I think both of those would really benefit from a Unlimiter. By the way, I choose Unlimiter because I think Enabler and any of the other names are just stupid. Unlimiter is impressive. It plays on the Limit Break 4, and I just like it. So, yeah. Alright, so let's talk about a Murakumo deck. Murakumo is a fun little clan. Unlike, say, just a second. There we go, that's better-ish. There we go. Fantastic. Unlike, say, Nubatama, which is much more serious, or Narukami and Kagero, which are much more mainstream, you know, this clan is enjoyable, to say the least, and one of my favorites. Building decks for it, though, is pretty easy. You sort of pick a sort of function of their Kagebushin, Shadow Clone combinations, and then you sort of build the deck that benefits you earlier. I do have the deck course based on Hayaki Boga. Many of the cards are from that. The sleeves certainly are. And this is sort of more because I want a bit of a change from Hayaki. This deck is it won't make as many good plays, but it's sort of fun because it's all about getting them pluses, baby, as well as making sure you can keep up the Kagebushin as long as possible for the greatest amount of numbers. This isn't based on luck, obviously, and it's also basically to be done as long as you get one card or the other, you can start using Tamano instantly. So let's start with our starter. Our starter is meant to combo up with Bandit Ape. Basically, this guy, put this unit at the bottom of your deck, choose up to one Murakumo from hand, call it to R, at the beginning of the end phase, return it to your hand. So in other words, you play this guy. You send it into the bottom of the deck, this guy plays. You attack the Vanguard. You hit, you draw a card, you put this at the bottom of the deck. It's a break even, and a -1 from deck, but at the same time, you know, it's fun. It is. It's great fun. Self-Beast Evil Ferret is a really great card. It allows you that extra pressure early attacks, so I'm running a crit-heavy deck just to really put it on turn 1. Because even though you're getting a lot of defense with this guy, if you're playing him right anyway, especially later in the game when you get Tamano out and start copying him, you're at the same time you're at risk of losing it to your, losing card advantage, especially if you don't get the right cards, pressure, so on and so forth. So let's put them over here. I've actually found the trigger lineup for Hayaki Vogue really great. We're talking here 9 crits, 3 jaw, 4 heal. Pretty solid lineup. Really for the extra offense that you'll need to make sure you keep going. A little bit of draw never hurt anybody, especially in this sort of deck. Again, I copied this from Shade's Novell deck. So grade 1s. Grade 1s from Murakumo have always been weak. There's some pretty crazy ideas out there that I just don't like. They're really trying to figure out what makes Murakumo tick and how best to suit it for, the new era, because the era is always changing. I run 2 AKs. You can't run one of anything in this deck, because otherwise abilities don't go off right, and it's just wasting a counterblast. 2 of them because 18k columns. You do have to worry about cross rides nowadays. Previously, even towards the end of set 13, you didn't really have to worry about cross rides as much. But in set 14, there was Dominate Drive, Dragon Minerva, Ashley Reverse. Were there any other ones? There's a bunch of other ones, I think. And, ever since then, there's just been a bunch. You never know when you'll meet a cross-ride-ridden dungaree. And you're like, oh no, I could beat this dungaree if only I had 18k columns. And it's embarrassing because he got beat by Dungaree. Because let's face it, unless Dungaree's held by a master, you're going to lose. Haha. Alright, so here we have 3 Stealth Fiend Oboro cards. Oboro card is when this card is placed on Vanguard, Rearguard. If you have a Murakumo Vanguard, you may pay the cost. Counterblast 1. If you do, choose a Rearguard not named Stealth Fiend Oboro card and search your deck for 1 copy of the same name of that unit. Call it our shuffle deck and then put it at the bottom at the end of the turn. Fantastic card in the sense that you can copy this guy, you can copy this guy. There are a lot of great targets for copying. It's 6k, which is a weakness, and there's going to be a lot of 15k columns if you're not careful. But at the same time, I'm sure a competent player can manage it. At the same time, using his effect pulls off her ability. She is straight from the Hyaki Vogue and should be used in every single Murakumo deck based on the Kagebushin mechanic. She is, when this unit boosts a Murakumo, if the number of units with the same name as a boosted unit are 2 or more, they get plus 3k until end of battle. In other words, 18k columns. 19k columns in case we ever meet that 14k defense Vanguard I think they're going to pull out some day. You know, and that's fantastic. It's numbers. It's always numbers. It's always about the numbers. If you can't hit the numbers, you won't be able to hurt your opponent as much. A single trigger could mess everything up. Here's the thing about hitting numbers. It makes it guaranteed that a single trigger by one of your other units still allows this card to hit. Well, sorry, boosted unit to hit. And you don't, a lot of people don't realize how valuable that is. People say, oh, I'll just hit 18k all the time. No, 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 it's how you do it. What abilities are you going off? You know, are you getting as many pluses as you can from it? Just putting a bunch of 8Ks in here doesn't mean anything, but now I've got this ability going off. It turns other cards into 16K, whereas otherwise they'd be, you know, just not as good. Besides that, you can't put in more than 4 80Ks anyway, so you have to search for some things. 4 Sentinels. You can use just about anything in this deck. The benefit of this deck is that you can put cards you need into the bottom of the deck, so when you quintet wall, no danger. I don't have any quintet walls because I'm not a big fan of them. I've got a few lying around for trade bait, obviously, but not in this deck. Besides that, you've got a bunch of hand advantage that you can use. Alright. Grade 1's out of the way. Here we have 4 damage and flippers. Stealth Beast Whitemane. He's pretty good. Damage and flipper. You'll be using a lot of damage later in the game, but you should be using it throughout, so that when it comes time for it, you know, this is hit often enough so that you can keep summoning out him with Tamano. Let's see here. Right, it's an act. Yeah, an act. Next 4 are Stealth Hair Rogue, Demonic Hair Stealth Rogue, Grinjin. Counterblast 1. When this unit hits a Vanguard, unflip a damage. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if this unit boosted by Murakumo. In other words, you have it like this. This boosts. If it's early game, it'll hit 15k. Counterblast 1. Summon up. All of a sudden, this is 18k. Combos. All sorts of combos in this stack. If it hits, Counterblast 1. Summon out another one. Put it at the bottom of the deck at the end of the turn. It's nice. It's an extra attack when, you know, you don't really deserve it. Really great card. Another one is, a favorite of mine is Stealth Fiend Midnight Crow. Midnight Crow was not good until the recent set. Straight up. This makes her good. You combo them up, all of a sudden 17k columns when this is previously 8k. It's a version of Million Rat. You summon out multiple of them. Back in the day, you used to play Mandala Lord with Zanbaku or the grade 3 version of this. Oh my. With the grade 3 version of this. And that was pretty great. Just a second. Sorry about this, guys. There seems to be a bit of camera trouble today. But that's alright. Counterblast 1. Somehow another Midnight Crow. Just making sure I went over that. Yeah, and that's just about covers it. Because it sums up copies of itself, it makes this card's unit ability guaranteed. You can also use it in Hyaki Vogue decks, as I mentioned earlier, to basically lock. And then these stay because lock happens you can choose the order of instantaneous abilities, so it's a plus to the field. So, last for the grade 3s, Bandit Ape should be the workhorse of the deck. Put this unit into the bottom of your deck. When this unit attacks, it's a Vanguard. If you have a Murakumo Vanguard, draw a card. And then put it at the bottom of the deck, obviously. So in other words, it hits, boom, whoosh. But the thing is, you have two. You summon this one out by Tamano. Sorry, you summon this, you have the, like this. Then you use Counterblast 1, Tamano, copy this one out here. What does Tamano do, you ask? It's the power breaker for Murakumo. Limit break 4. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, this unit gets plus 5k until end of battle. This is a great clan for Unlimiters, by the way, because of Shirayuki and Hayaki Bogen and a couple others. Counterblast 1. Choose a grade 2 or greater Murakumo Rearguard. Search your deck for up to one card with the same name as that unit. Call it to R. Shuffle deck. At the end of the turn, put this unit called in the bottom of the deck. In other words, you lose this card anyway, might as well attack the Vanguard with it. So in other words, let's see here. Ideal field should be looking something like this. So, you Counterblast, by the way, 4 of each, grade 3 by the way. Platinum, Blood, Fox, Spirit, Tamano. So basically it's like this. This one, let's say, attacked a rearguard back in the day. It's 19k, so that could kill a rearguard, which is a minus to your opponent, which is not the same as a plus to you, because it puts pressure, but it does put pressure on the opponent. So, Counterblast 1, boom. 15k, because, hey, no wait, sorry, I'm doing this wrong. Let's play this guy, Counterblast 1, summon out him. Swing, swing, swing. Next turn, Counterblast 1, 21k columns, 19k columns, solid, potential for immense amounts of pluses. Let's say the Bandit Apes start disappearing. Good choices. This guy, this guy, this guy. No matter what your situation is, you're always gaining some sort of advantage, always filling out your field somehow, even if it's only temporary. And even then, what happens is you use his ability, and then the next turn you use up this, put another one here. That's still 17k columns. That's still good numbers. Admittedly, they're 8k. Their defense is weak. They might die. Just making sure. So, you know, you got to be careful. This is a pretty balanced deck. It's not going to win you any tournaments, but it's going to be fun as heck. Worth it to play. This is another one of those decks that I sort of want experts to make, and it's their like sort of feature decks to show off their their deck building skill. Me talking for 20 minutes about why Cobalt Wave can be used or can't be used because it's terrible, because Cobalt Wave is so terrible. Oh my goodness, it's terrible. For the amount of restrictions it has. You know, it just isn't the same. Alright, let's see how this is. Okay, that's good. Alright guys, got 3 more Legion. Couple of promos, and from Monty Bushy Road. All 3 of them are promos. That's fantastic. So let's start here with the Seeker. There's a lot of Seeker support out there, and you got to be careful. Some of it's good, some of it's not. This one I think is pretty good. The Rearguard it's okay. I think they missed out for a Sanctuary of Light Legion here. But hey, that's just me. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if you have a Vanguard with Seeker in the name, choose one of your other units, and that unit gets plus 5k until end of turn. In other words, you attack with that first, then the Vanguard, then the thing where you gave all the power and the criticals to. Legion, I just want to remind everyone, Seeker chooses a card. If your opponent is a grade 3 or greater Vanguard only once, this unit may return 4 cards, by the way, choose triggers, from the drop zone to your deck, and then search your deck for a specified card. In other words, this guy right here. And then perform Legion. Once you perform Legion, you get your base attack is 20k, plus whatever you add to it. So in other words, you can add the 5k here. And that hits just about anything, because it doesn't require other rear guards. It's just other units. Anything. Counterblast 2 cards with Seeker in the name. Special Counterblast. If this unit is in Legion, choose 3 units, and this gets plus 5k until end of turn. Can't do it again. In other words, this is a Sing Saber Dragon. This is another reason why Sing Saber is obsolete. Sing Saber requires 5 soul, and that's difficult. Other things require, say, 2 counterblasts and a couple soul, or just 2 seekers. It's a fantastic card. And then the second ability, and this is only when they can use Legion. Let's see, 3 units until end of turn. Choose a card from your hand and discard it. When this unit attacks, it's a Vanguard. Search your deck for a Seeker, call it to rearguard, shuffle the deck. There are a whole bunch of units and Seekers that gain a power just from being summoned out by a Legion. There are cards that don't even require Seekers. There are cards that require Seeker and Legion, and they get plus 5k, turning themselves into an 11k booster when summoned, and that's fantastic. In other words, let's say that you pull it out here. All of a sudden, this is hitting 31k. Let's say you hit with another column, and this is 36k. Let's say that there's another column over here, and it's a 12k Seeker, and then it's boosted by one of those, it's 23k. That hits numbers. It's the most beautiful number in all of Vanguard, 23k. Why? Because it's 15k for a fucking cross ride. That's the difference. Alright. And it's so useful. I'm not really sold on Seekers. I'm not going to lie. This card's great, but I think it would work better in the Sanctuary of Light deck than anything else, because I think Sanctuary of Night needs more love. They created an archetype in set 14 and then just sort of let it rot. Great, guys. Great. So let's talk about the Nubatama one. This is an interesting guy. Nubatama has a bunch of... is one of the weird places in Vanguard like Mega Colony. Unlike Mega Colony, they're a lot more powerful. From the start, because they got a break ride set 13 and a whole bunch of other stuff, and the support was already OP. The reason why they didn't do Nubatama earlier on was because it was OP. And it was only until the break ride meta of set 13 when they released Chaos Breaker Dragon, which was broken, more or less, until the new stuff came out and Novell came out. They couldn't play it and expect it to win all the time. They restricted the hell out of it to only like boosting Nubatama and whatnot in set 1, but it still wasn't enough. Because they knew that if they would have to do it, they would have to continue on with the thing about discarding your hand, messing with the hand, and that's just too powerful. Let's see here. Shura, Self Dragon, Darani Congo. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if the Vanguard's in Legion, until end of battle, this unit gets plus 2k, and Soul Blast 1. When this unit attacks, it's a Vanguard. You may pay the cost, and if you do, choose 2 cards from your opponent's bind zone and put them into his or her drop zone. Fantastic card. It's like the starter, except better because it's an 11k attacker. Sure, it requires Legion, but that's fine because the Legion's pretty good. Counterblast 1 and Persona Blast. Persona Legion Blast, I guess I'll say. If this unit is in the Legion, and the number of cards in your opponent's hand is 4 or more, choose 2 cards at random from the opponent's hand, bind them face down, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, bind it face up, and at the end of that turn, your opponent put these cards bound by this effect into his or her hand. In other words, you mess with Riot Horn, you mess with Unicorn, with Linchu, with anything that causes issues, with 12k attackers. Second ability is when this unit attacks a Vanguard and you have another unit in the center column, this unit gets plus 3k until end of battle. You run this with other cards that bring down the opponent's hand. Until all of a sudden they realize that they can't let anything hit because you could make them discard, you could make them destroy the bound units, and by the way, you always choose the 2 face down units unless the face up unit is really key to the strategy. For example, an Unlimiter, something like Riot Horn, anything really that gives your opponent advantage in attacking or defense. Lastly, we've got another OTT Legion. This is Battle Sisters, and so it's a bit more supported. But at the same time, you know, Battle Sisters was the first. Let's see, archetype. Machining was the first archetype to require other cards that were machining in certain locations, the soul namely. But this is the first one in general that had like multiple Battle Sisters. Battle Sister Chocolat, Battle Sister Coco, so on and so forth. But even then, they were overshown by Amaterasu until, I want to say set 9. Yeah, I think it was set 9, as well as the first OTT EV with Fromage. So cookies and fromage. Cookies and cream. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, and if Battle Sister Pudding. I don't really know about the. I thought it would be like peanut butter and jelly, but no, it's pudding and jelly, and I don't know. I don't know about that, guys. Japanese are weird. When this unit attacks hits a Vanguard, and you have Vanguard with Battle Sister in the card name, choose up to one card from your damage zone, turn it face up, and choose one of your other units, and this unit gets plus 3k of it, and that unit gets plus 3k until end of turn. In other words, it can give its booster plus 3k. That affects it. No, wait, sorry. It hits the Vanguard. What am I thinking? So in other words, you get plus 3k to your columns that aren't hit, or to Jelly herself, so that she hits better numbers. The better numbers you hit, the harder it is opponent to guard, and the easier it is for you to win. Not that I'm saying it's guaranteed, but hey. I don't even know, man. What is Jelly even wielding? Is that like a sword or something? I don't know. I get the big guns. Nuns with guns are cool. But this, I don't know. Legion with Battle Sister Pudding, obviously. Counterblast 3. By the way, I just realized that this doesn't require Legion. So in other words, you can run Pudding in anything that's Battle Sister level. In other words, a Monica deck, a Fromage deck. It really does help. Battle Sisters do have a bit of an expensive thing when it comes to their pluses. But sure, it's more pluses, but it's a bit more expensive. So you just gotta do it right. With Pudding. Counterblast 3 for Battle Sister Jelly. If this unit is in Legion, draw a card for each unit you have in the center column with Battle Sister in its card name. In other words, 3. And then choose one card from your hand and discard it. Unless you're in a real emergency situation, you should not use the ability unless you have 3 cards. In other words, a booster, her, and her. Guaranteed 2, but rather 1. Excuse me. But if you use it fully, you'll get 2 cards. I don't like the fact that you discard a card for a lot of the Battle Sister stuff. I don't believe it's a +2 when you discard 1. It's only a +1 then. Cookie is Counterblast 2, draw 2, discard 1. But Scarlet Witch Coco is, if you've got no cards in the soul, Counterblast 2, draw 2. That's it. And that's fantastic. Of course, it requires like 1 or less cards in the soul or something like that. But, you know, the second ability is likewise. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have another unit in the center column, this unit gets plus 3k until end of battle. This happens with anything. So it's 14k plus a 7k, which is 21k. Which is numbers, which hits things, but not as good as, say, 23k. Alright, so, yeah, that's pretty good. Look forward to the next episode. I'm going to do some things on, not set 15 yet, but I want to sort of cover what we can expect in the future, as well as some new releases. I'm sure you've seen the November release schedule, and I want to talk about that, as well as a few cards we can expect, as well as I'm thinking of doing a educational piece on the sort of how Vanguard's progressing as a game, starting with like restandards, and then what the restandards are today, from Dragonic Overlord and Laurel to Minerva and let's see, what was a restander that came out recently? Sing Saber Dragon, which are both immensely powerful cards. Biss too. Biss is coming out November too, so great, fantastic. All right then, this has been Benjamin Wheeler, the Mercenary King, and I'll be talking to you guys next week. All right.